Hey everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Casually Avid Gamers Minecraft for Beginners series. Welcome to the second day of the rest of your life. The sun's coming up and we need to get moving. Let's recap what our early game goals are for Minecraft as I'm trying to deal with this lag. Our early game goals on Minecraft are shelter, a steady food supply, and easy access to resources. There seems to be lots of pigs around, so we're going to go ahead and harvest some because we could always use more food. And there's a skeleton. They shoot arrows, and so approaching them head on from a distance is usually not the best idea, because they can shoot you before you get to them. But if you can stay in cover before you get there, that's not a problem. Hey, and there's a creeper. We want to stay away from him. If you watched my Let's Play at all, you know I hate creepers because they destroy real estate. They hug you and explode. Only without the hug. They just explode. It's terrible. Okay, so shelter, stable food supply, and easy access to resources is what we're going for. Let's take a look at what we've got left over from day one. We've got 33 pieces of cobblestone to keep making stone tools with. That's half of what you need to make stone tools. That's good. That's plenty. However, we are down to 2 sticks and 11 planks. That is not much wood. So let's get on with harvesting some of that wood. And actually what I'm going to do is, actually I'm not. There are 2 types of trees here. I started grabbing oak yesterday, and so I'm sticking with it. If you have the opportunity in your game, I would actually suggest going with birch. It's easier to deal with. It's easier to harvest. But early game, I usually don't bother with tying up my inventory with a lot of different types of wood. Not until I find the place where I really want to build my cool first base. And the base we're going to try and build today isn't that cool first base. What we're going to try to build today is kind of an outpost that'll let us gather the resources we need to find that first super awesome Minecraft home. So, harvest a few more piggies. Are there any more around here? Oh, there's some over there. Great. So moving quickly. So our first day went well. We found a lot of the stuff we needed and wanted. I think we actually hit all of our day 1 goals. So let's talk about what our day 2 goals are. I'm going to explore away from the desert just because. Our day 2 goals. We want to find a spot for our initial outpost. And what's going to help us define for that spot is is our second goal. Actually, defining our first goal means solving our second goal. We want to we want to be able to start our early game farms. And for that, we'll need a decent pool of water. There's a pool back that way that would work. However, goal 3 seems to be demanding that we explore a little. Goal number 3 is we need a bed. Beds are the best early game defensive item in Minecraft. And actually, throughout the entire game, in my opinion, they're phenomenal. But to build a bed, you need wool. And to get wool, you need sheep. And I haven't seen any yet. So we are exploring in the hopes of finding some sheep. Now, a couple of other goals that we have are this fourth one we may not get to. If we get lucky, great. If we don't, oh, he's running away. Come back, piggy. I want your chops. There we go. So this fourth goal, if we can do it, great. If we can't, we'll deal. But if we can find some iron to make some buckets. Buckets are a really useful item. in that if you've got 2 buckets, you don't have to worry about water ever. You can make a what's called an infinite water source, and you'll have plenty of water for the rest of the game. But since sheep, good. Here we go. One more sheep, please. One more sheep. Okay, there we go. Oh, 2 more sheep. All right, we've killed 3 sheep, which should have given us 3 wool. 1, 2, 3. Good. So we've got enough to build a bed. And man, this I think it looks like we're on an island. There's an ocean this way, river here. So yeah, it's kind of an island. But this island has pigs like the Midwest has squirrels. I've never seen this many pigs. All right, so we found stuff for a bed. This wouldn't be a bad pool of water, although it's kind of in a forest, so we would have to clear a ton of trees to do it. So you know what? Let's keep looking. So I realize I keep digressing from our goals. Those are just squid. Don't worry about them. They are not bad guys. However, you can harvest them for ink sacs, which could be useful later. So let's talk about our goals again as the sun begins to set. Our goals for the first day. Find a spot for our first base. We quite haven't done that yet, but we'll keep going. So find a decent spot for our first base. Start our basic farms, our early game farms. Build a bed. We've got the materials for that, so that's awesome. Oh, wait, that's cool. Remember that. So number 3 is build a bed. Number 4, find some iron if possible to make buckets. We haven't done that, but since we found a nice pool of water, we don't have to worry about it. And then number 5, grab anything that might be useful. Now, we grabbed some cacti earlier, and over there is some sugarcane, so I'm actually going to head that way and get some sugarcane. Again, it's not super useful early game, but having it with us means we don't have to hunt it down later for when we want to start growing it. So 4 pieces of sugarcane. Awesome. Now, I know getting a bed was number 3 on our list, but it was probably the most important in that once you have a bed, the opening stages of Minecraft become much less stressful. And monsters, as I experienced some lag, monsters become much less of a worry. So we'll actually, I think, make our bed and put it down. Okay, I'm actually going to escape out here for a little bit and see if I can't figure out why my computer's lagging. So I will check back in with you guys in a minute. Okay, well, that maybe helped a little bit, but not much. Okay, so let's get our crafting table down and let's make our bed. To make your bed, okay, evidently that didn't help at all. You need 3 pieces of wool, and 3 planks of wood. That'll give us a bed. That's awesome. Now, beds are a magical item in Minecraft in that they can prevent monsters from spawning and therefore from bugging you, blowing you up, shooting you, or just generally annoying you. So as the sun goes down, I'm actually going to kill off some of these piggies because we don't want them near our wheat farm. They don't eat the wheat in the ground, but they could trample it. And also what I'm going to do is try to find some more wheat seeds. Because the more seeds you start off with, the faster your wheat farm gets up and going. There we go. All right, good. Now let's start working on our farm while we're waiting for the sun to go down. you see none of this water looks like it's running anywhere because all of these are source blocks of water, or still water. You'll hear it called source blocks mostly. But if you remove a block near it, this source block is now trying to run into that. Source blocks are the only types of water you can pick up with buckets. So I could pick up here, because that's still a source block, I could pick that up with a bucket. However, I couldn't pick the water out of this square because it's just running water. Now, running water will run away from a source block for 7 blocks. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we go 8, it doesn't reach. So we'll just fill that back in so it doesn't bug me. And as we're waiting for the sun to go down, let's go ahead and pull up our hoe and we'll start tilling some soil. Okay, let's sleep, and then I'll explain what beds do. Now beds, as you see, we just skipped the entire night. We hopped in bed and it jumped to the next morning, and it jumped to a point where it's too bright for monsters to spawn on the surface. Underground, it's always dark enough for monsters to spawn. But and so if you are conscientious about hopping into bed at the earliest possible time, you can actually sleep before it's light enough or before it's dark enough to spawn monsters on the surface. And then you skip the entire night until the next day when it's too bright for monsters to spawn again. So no monsters spawned on the surface. Whereas if I had just had to kind of dig myself a hole and just covered up to survive the night, monsters would have been spawning all around here as I was doing it. And when the sun comes up, it'll kill the zombies and the skeletons, but it won't kill creepers or witches or munchkin zombies or let's see, I think those are kind of the main ones. Or if a zombie or a skeleton had spawned with a helmet on, it wouldn't catch fire then. So we would have to hopefully, or if we had just hid the night away inside a hole, we'd have to deal with, possibly any of those monsters that survived. So creepers and whatnot. And creepers, if you've watched my Let's Play, creepers are my pet peeve because they explode and they leave great gaping holes in the real estate. And that's just a pain, especially if you've just built something cool. Now, you see I've been tilling ground, and you can see that the ground is getting a darker shade of brown. That means that the soil is being hydrated. And it's being hydrated because it's within 4 blocks of either a source block or running water. And that hydrates the soil. Now, if we go away from the soil or from the water and do that there, it looks fine, but if we come back in a couple of minutes, it's going to change back into dirt. And the other problem is when it's not near water, it gets really sensitive. Like if you walk on it or run across it, or a monster or some other kind of animal falls on it, it will just turn back into dirt. Of course, it's not doing it now just to prove me wrong. But trust me in that the soil is much more sturdy after you till it when it's near water. And so actually those are within 4, so we can do another line here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pick up the dirt, because why waste it? And now we can do some more tilling. Oops, wrong way. Yeah, there we go. That should be all right to start putting our seeds down. And these will start, hopefully, growing. Alright, so we've got our 22 seeds down, and those will start to grow, and when they're fully mature, when we harvest them, they'll drop wheat, and then they'll drop more seeds. So we don't have to worry about punching grass constantly, because that's kind of loud and annoying. So what else do we have? We can go ahead and plant our sugarcane, not because it's necessary this early in the game, but because we've got space. So over here, clear out some of this stuff. The trick with sugarcane is it has to be planted adjacent to water. If you tried to plant it here, it wouldn't go. So, and this will start growing, and we can harvest it later. Again, we've got the space, so might as well use it. I'm not going to worry about a pumpkin farm just yet, although we can... This lag, I tell you, I don't know what's happening. I apologize, guys. Alright, so we'll get that in there. Okay, so next thing to do, we're actually going to sacrifice a little spot there. We're going to jump up and down on this until it hopefully breaks. There we go. So we can set a torch there. Why a torch there? Well, Minecraft is kind of funny. For things to grow in Minecraft, they need light. What they don't necessarily need is sunlight. So, you know, the sunlight will work. Sunlight will make it grow. But if they have light sources near them at night, they'll keep growing throughout the night. And if we just relied on sunlight to do it, during the night, the light level would be low enough that crops would stop growing. This is a handy thing to know if you want to build an underground farm, which you might. You know, if you decide to build a great, huge underground complex, which is actually a lot of fun to do in this game, using light to grow your crops is an absolute necessity. And now we've also got a couple of oak saplings. Let's start a little tree farm over here. And we'll just do that. And again, because they need light to grow, we'll just slap a torch right there. Voila. Okay, so we've got our early game farm going. Let's recap. So we wanted to find a spot for our first outpost. Check. This is the bunny. Next episode we'll build a mine here, and we'll talk about how to do that, or talk about various ways to do that. There's no one best way in my opinion, but we found a spot for our first base. We started our early game farms, which basically your wheat farm and your tree farm. Our tree farm is pretty pathetic right now, but it'll grow quickly. So we started our basic farms. We built a bed. Building a bed is incredibly important. I'll come back to that in a second. We didn't find any iron, but that's okay. We'll probably find some next episode. And then the fifth thing, and every day, if something's going to be useful, grab it. We grabbed sugarcane, so we don't have to worry about finding it later. We grabbed a couple of pumpkins that we can break down into pumpkin seeds, and we can grow those. And you know what? We'll grow them later. So now we can grow some pumpkins. You know, we've got some cacti for wherever we wherever we end up later. And we grabbed a whole bunch of raw pork chops. So when we need food, we'll have plenty of food to cook while we're waiting for our farm to get up and going. And this wheat farm, I'm going to make this quite a bit bigger, actually. I tend to like bigger farms just because you can get a lot of food quick, and so you don't have to spend so much time managing it. So, spot for our first base. Basic farms. Built a bed. Didn't find any iron, so fail boat on that one, but that's okay. And we continue to grab stuff that we found useful. And again, let me reiterate how important the bed is. The bed lets you skip the part of the game that spawns monsters on the surface. And as long as you're kind of sticking to the surface, you are so much safer. There's so much less stress in getting going. Now, if you like fighting through the night and dealing with that, that's a perfectly valid way to play the game. I mean, by all means, grab your stone sword and go out and kill the beasts all night. That's a fun way to play too. That's not the way I particularly enjoy doing it. I like getting a little more established before I commence the monsterly slaughter. But however you want to do it, and the bed helps me not have to deal with that until I'm ready. So let's hear. Evidently this is just an ode to the humble bed. All right, the sun's going down. And so I think we'll call it a day there. This wraps up days 2 and 3 of Minecraft for Beginners by the Casually Avid Gamer. I hope this helps you guys get started in your own game, because Minecraft is such a blast. I'm glad you're interested in it. If you don't have it, I suggest you take the leap and get it, because it is just an absolutely fun game. If you want to see more Minecraft videos, please check out my Minecraft Let's Play or even my Minecraft Minis. You can find those on my YouTube channel. So thanks for checking this out. I hope you guys had fun. I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one.